We want to clean in the paint. We're going to call hand checking and body checking, and sportsmanship is an absolute must. Okay.
He lets it fly. Oh, I can't believe it.
Welcome back to the Two Shots in the Ball podcast. I am your co-host, Mike McAndrews, along with my brother, Jim McAndrews. And Jim, episode number 13. And we are excited. I know you're personally excited about this one.
I am. Lucky number 13. I am. This should be a good one.
Yeah. So a couple things I want to talk about first for our listeners. So a guy who's near and dear to both you and I, my assistant coach of 18 years, John Nader, has been hospitalized since the beginning of June. He was in intensive care and in a medical coma for over 50 days with double pneumonia, fighting for his life. The good news is that about a week and a half, 2 weeks ago, John woke up and is recovering and out of intensive care. So we are really, really excited that our prayers were answered for John, one of the best human beings you and I both know, and got into the Caddy League Hall of Fame last year.
That is a blessing, a blessing. Have you talked to Junior recently?
I do. I've talked to his son. We text about every other day. I went and visited John last week, and he is talking and alert, and of course had some harsh criticism for me as a coach, like he always did. So he's getting back to his normal self. So
awesome. I'm going to reach out to him.
I'm just really excited for him. A lot of the prayers have been answered. 50 plus days in a medical induced coma is a very long time. And there were days where we just weren't sure if he was going to make it or not. So we're pleased that he is on the mend and heading back in the right direction. And Coach, if you're listening, we're still thinking of you and praying for your recovery.
John, keep getting well.
So without further ado, why don't we introduce guest number 13. Today's guest has spent 19 seasons coaching in college basketball. He spent the last 12 seasons as head coach at Ferris State University. He led the Bulldogs to 4 GLIAC regular season championships, 5 GLIAC tournament titles, 10 20-win seasons, 9 overall NCAA tournament appearances, 3 NCAA Division II Sweet 16 appearances. In 2024, he led the Bulldogs to the NCAA Division II Elite 8. And in 2018, he led Ferris State to one of the most historic seasons in NCAA Division II men's basketball history, as Ferris State claimed the school's first national championship with a memorable 38-1 record, tying the all-time mark for most wins in school history. In 2018, he was named the Consensus National Coach of the Year. This past spring, he was named new head coach at Division I Central Michigan University. We are pleased to welcome to the Two Shots in the Ball podcast, Central Michigan head coach Andy Bronkema. Coach, thank you.
Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, thanks for having me, guys. Appreciate it.
So, Coach, take us through your journey in basketball from your playing days that I'm familiar with at McBain High School, where you won a state championship, to your college days as an All-American at Cornerstone, up until today as the head coach at Central Michigan.
Yeah, really just grew up in an athletic family. My dad was a coach, football coach, basketball coach, athletic director. My little brother, 2 years younger, was into athletics. My sister, 6 years younger, into it. So the whole family thing, mom was real supportive. So that was kind of what our family did. We grew up in a small community, McBain, as you mentioned, always trying to put McBain on the map.
Yeah, I hear you.
But a strong history of athletics there and winning teams and great coaches. So that was one of the things at McBain that I was blessed just to be coached by Bruce Coltman, a BCAM Hall of Famer, over 800 wins. Really just, sometimes you just get lucky. You're born to the family you're in, and that's what my dad was into, and that's what we were into. And, I played for a Hall of Famer in high school, and we won the state championship in 2002, had a great group of guys, but had a lot of success in other sports, 3-sport athlete. And said whatever season it was, that's the favorite sport, whatever season it was. So baseball, football, basketball. And that's what we did. That's what we look forward to doing every day.
Some of my research, Coach, did you not also play in a state championship game in football?
We did, but thanks for bringing that up.
Sorry.
Yeah. We lost that. And that was really my dad was football coach in 93. They lost the championship, and I was the water boy. And kind of our goal was to get back and to finish the job. And we were unable to do that. Fortunately, the basketball season came around, and we got it done there in the basketball season. But went on from there to Cornerstone University in Grand Rapids, had some GLIAC schools recruiting, a couple offers, but really just fell in love with Cornerstone. My 8th grade teacher, Dan Verbergmos, played there. He was impactful in my life. Again, just the people that, you know, you don't choose the people that are coming into your life, but he was an impactful teacher for me. I wanted to be a teacher and a coach. That's all I wanted to do. And they had a good education program, and had my major, and they were very successful. They won a national championship in '99. I came in 2002. We made it to a Final Four, a couple of Elite Eights, made the national tournament every year. And again, played for another Hall of Famer, Kim Elders, over 800 wins, is in multiple Hall of Fames. So 2 Hall of Fame coaches, Coach Coltman, more of a defensive guy, but take a lot of things from him. And then, Coach Elders, more of an offensive guy, and just really got to blend the things I liked and didn't like. And had a blast at Cornerstone, a lot of good teammates. I mean, just really embarrassment of riches when it came to NAIA and the talent we had and how we competed, and, ranked number 1 in the nation my junior year. And it was a lot of fun, a great experience for me, and a learning experience. So I go from Cornerstone, I go to Big Rapids to be an elementary PE teacher at Crossroads Charter Academy. So I was elementary PE teacher for 3 years. Love that job. I mean, that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to be a teacher. Love that job. Moved to Big Rapids. The varsity job was opened up at the Charter Academy. I applied for it. I didn't get it. They gave it to the assistant from the year before. I was pretty crushed about that, for sure. I really was looking forward to starting a program and building a program. So instead of coaching the JV, I asked if I could volunteer at Ferris State. Our Cornerstone teams had played them a couple times over the years, and their assistant had recruited me a little bit in high schools. I met with Coach Bill Saul, who's at Kelvin College now, and Corey Anderson, and sat down with them, and they let me volunteer. So for 3 years, I would leave school at 2:50 and go over to Ferris, and I'd do whatever I could, just try to find a way where I could serve and contribute. After 3 years, Corey took another job, and I became the head assistant. I was really on a 3-year interview, and became the head assistant and moved up, got out of teaching. And then 3 years later, Coach Saul took another job, and I was scheduled to go with him, interviewed, ready to go, but I got a courtesy interview. Got the interim head coach, holding things together, got an interview, did well enough to make the final 3, and 29 years old, the top 2 guys turned the job down. I was the last man standing.
I don't.
So, yeah. And then 12 years as head coach, 5 years in, we won the national championship, but just had a lot of great players, a lot of good people around us. Ferris State's an unbelievable place, a place where you can win. And that's kind of the story of, just my life story, is just being around people that, are winners. And I say it like this: give you permission to win. They teach you how to win, but it's what they do. It's what they talk about. It's how they operate. If you really boil things down, a lot of people aren't, they have to win. If they're going to win, they're going to win a certain way, by scoring 20 points or having this sort of accolade. Really, everybody I was around just had winning first, second, and third, and then everything else fell into place. So that's kind of my story. 12 years at Ferris, and then here I am at Central Michigan, 5 months.
Awesome. I gotta wonder if Crossroads has some buyer's remorse on who they hired.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know.
It worked out for you. That is for sure.
Yeah, it worked out for everybody. I mean, it made sense at the time for them. I mean, those seniors were attached to that assistant coach. He was the football coach there too, and a great guy. So it just, God had a different path, and that's what happened. But all pretty unintentional. Just making the big time where you're at, and trying to impact people's lives. And at the time, it was a volunteer, and it was a paid hobby. It's what I love to do. So I didn't think of it as a volunteer. I thought of it as a chance to be involved in something special.
That's a great journey that you shared with us. And, the takeaway for our young guys is you just work and your passion for the game. So thank you for sharing that. I want to go back to your 2018 Ferris State team that you guys were referencing that won the national championship. What a magical time for you, the players, the community, really the state. I remember watching it. What are some of your fondest memories of that run to that championship?
There's too many to really count, but the fondest memories are still today, just reconnecting with the guys on that team and the coaches on that team. I had a memory pop up the other day with a great picture of me and some of the coaches in Sioux Falls, checking out the falls on our off day, and I sent it to the coaches, and we reminisced a little bit. So those are the best memories, the ones that are still happening right now. And the legend grows, right? So, we were a good team, but it took a little good fortune and it took a lot of hard work. But now it's in the books. Can't take it away from us. And we can make the stories even more legendary. Pretty unique team, a homegrown team. A lot of guys that redshirted, a lot of guys that, maybe were overlooked or weren't first pick, and they came together and, very talented. The competency was very high, but the competitive nature and the closeness of that team was second to none. And that, paid dividends when games got close. They trusted each other and, pulled it out.
That Cushionberry was on there, right?
Very.
His dad, I ref out of Romeo. His dad's still coaching at Romeo, so he, I think he still tells, "Yeah, my son won the national championship pregame." Yeah, I know.
That's the one you lead with. That's the one you lead with.
Yeah, I agree. I love it.
Arv came to me. Drew was we redshirted a lot of guys. Drew was one of the guys that didn't redshirt for me, and I think he played like 4 or 6 minutes in one game early. And Marv was kind of like, "Hey, if he's just going to play that much, why don't we redshirt him?" I was like, "Look, just hang on, because he's going to be ready to go." He ended up starting for us that freshman year, and we won a championship that year. And Drew Cushionberry and in his class, they were 12-0 in the GLIAC conference tournament. They never lost a game. They won every game for 4 years in a row. Yeah. And unbelievable group of guys.
So, Coach, you had referenced earlier, talking about your journey, about some of the people that have impacted you and had the greatest impact you in your coaching career. Can you kind of elaborate along the way of who was some of the guys or people that have had a profound impact on your coaching career?
Yeah, no way to touch on everybody that's had an impact on me. I'm pretty observant, and I've been in athletics my whole life. Like I said, I grew up in a son of a coach and an athletic director. So I just been on the scene, looking to see how people do things, looking to see what the best practice is, just constantly observing, taking mental notes, seeing what works, what doesn't, what you like, what you don't like. A lot of the names I mentioned already have had an impact. Bruce Coltman, my high school basketball coach, high school football and baseball coach, Matt McDonald, Amber Berkmouse, my 8th grade teacher. A lot of teachers at McBain. Really, I wanted to be a teacher and a coach. So a lot of just teachers that weren't coaches. But then going on to college and the staff we had at Cornerstone, it wasn't just Coach Elders. It was Lance Rourke, who I'm very good friends with now, and Jared Crandall, and just the legacy of players there that came back in the Grand Rapids area. And all those people, they touch you one way or another. And that shapes you. Mm-hmm. And then the opportunity to coach for Bill Saul and to see his style and what he brought to the table. And then everybody that's ever been on my staff, nothing's new under the sun. So you're beg, borrowing, and stealing. And then you get involved in things, clinics and coaches emporiums, and you study and you read and you make it all your own. And you combine all those things together, and it kind of comes your brand basketball or your style. But the credit's certainly not for me. It's for everybody that came alongside of me. Coach Coltman, really, he gets not enough credit for his offense, but he's known for defense and rebounding, and the emphasis he put on it and the direction he gave and how important it is to win games. Even when you're not playing well, if you play defense and rebound, you're going to be in the game. And then Coach Elders had a really beautiful offensive system, just moving the ball up the floor. Old school San Antonio Spurs with Duncan in that group and that dynasty, and the dynasty of Golden State. That's really how Cornerstone played. Just, we call it chop the tree down. So just move the ball, it'll find the right person, and then you can take advantage of it, really share the basketball, move it up the court. So learned a lot from him there. And then Coach Saul is one of the more intense coaches that I worked with and was around, and among other attributes, his intensity in practice never wavered. Every single day he brought his A game. And, I looked at that and said, well, if I'm going to do this, you got to be prepared and ready to go in practice. You can't just take any days off. You can't waste any days. And he never did. So that's just a few to name a few, but there's a lot of influences and a lot of people. You read books, you take notes, and sometimes you find out what you don't want to do. It doesn't mean it's wrong, but it doesn't fit you. Yeah. So you just study it that way.
So I heard you say in an interview recently that you were not actively pursuing becoming a Division I head coach, but you always said you wanted to pursue the Central Michigan job if it ever became available. Why was Central Michigan the right fit for you at the right time to make the transition to Division I head coach?
Yeah, really for me, and being a dad and being at Ferris State and really enjoying it there and thinking it's a special place. I wasn't really looking. I was just looking to be a great dad and get my girls graduated and invest in their lives. And I was super happy at Ferris State. So I wasn't out there actively looking. My resume wasn't fresh. The central job had opened up 4 years ago, and it really wasn't a candidate or involved, and things were just different this time. Really, whatever interview you saw, really the best way to say it's the only job I would have taken.
Mm-hmm.
Some of the reasons why is because of the location. This is my footprint: McBain, Big Rapids, Mount Pleasant, and then just the history of my family. My sister went to school here, my dad went to school here, my grandma went to school here, my great grandma went to school here, my high school friends went to school
Nice.
here. Yeah, yeah. So Dan Bazine, close high school friend, he's in the Hall of Fame here. He's pictures all over. Every time I walk by it, I feel like taking a picture and sending it to him. Both my high school coaches went here. My Matt McDonald, my baseball football coach, and Bruce Coltman went to team camps here growing up. I came here for a little visit and had a walk-on opportunity, chose Cornerstone, but just a lot of reasons. I'm comfortable here in a place like Mount Pleasant, and I could be comfortable in a lot of places. Don't get me wrong, but this just there's a home feeling to it, and it's a new challenge and it's an opportunity that fit pretty well. So this is the job that, if came open and there was interest, this is one that would make me think real hard, and here I am.
Well, as a Central grad myself, we're very thankful you are the new head coach there. So, but I also want to talk about, dig real deep here. How can we get the toilet paper toss back when the Marley and the Levy days? How can we get that back into the game at Central?
Well, yeah, actually, I was looking for a little a background picture for the computer that we actually brought it back. So it's
You
back.
did.
Yeah, it's been back for a couple of years. So spread the word. It's back.
I did not know. How did I not know that?
Can they
Yeah,
do it every game though?
No, not every game. Not every game.
That's
Yeah,
when Jim was there. He was
Every
I
game.
know.
That's when we were in
Yeah.
Sports Illustrated that
Yeah.
year. Yes.
I know. Yeah, we brought it back. One game, we throw the toilet paper before the first basket, so everything is above board and safe now. But
Yeah.
we do that, and there's some great pictures out there. So we're carrying that tradition on, and that's really important to me. It was important to me every place I've been is to know the history and connect with the history, build on the history. We just had in practice today, we just had Sean Roundtree was in town. He was able to address the players, and I had some time with him in the office to connect, hear his story, what a player he was for Central Michigan. Chris Fowler just took the Saginaw job. We're going to play them in an exhibition homecoming weekend. So bringing Chris back, and just the amount of people reach out to me and the amount of people I've been able to connect with in a short period of time is just going to grow and grow. So those moments that you're fond of, Jim.
Yeah.
Everybody has those moments. The Chippewas have those moments. I want those to be shared with our guys, and I want to create some more. And that's part of, a history and a legacy and a program. So definitely happy to carry the torch and want to embrace that.
Awesome. I want to follow up. I know the real reason they had to cancel it wasn't because of player safety. I was a hall director at the time. So everyone on their way to the rows would go by the hall, and all the students would pick up toilet paper at the desk. So for the whole next week, there was no toilet paper in the dorms because everyone on the way there. So that's why they had to stop it.
It got expensive. It got expensive.
Yeah.
So that's kind of gross, Jim.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. What happens in Mount Pleasant should stay, I guess.
There you go.
So talk to you about the staff you've put together at Central. I know some of them are guys that were at Ferris with you, and I know you've got one of the guys that's been a college basketball coach and won a national championship at the Division III level.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, putting together a staff, has a lot of different things involved in it. And first of all, Central Michigan's, committed university here. So there's a good salary pool, and we were able to put together, some established coaches, some guys that have been in the business and been around me. So that was kind of one of the priorities, that was the priority. Competency first, and then loyalty second. And we went with that. And just to break it down, I took over Josh Fleming, who was my current assistant at Ferris State, and he played for me there. He's my current assistant 3 years, and he volunteered for me before that. And before him, it was Ramon McAfee. He played for me and volunteered for me and coached for me. And before that, it was Jim Lake, who was a volunteer when I was the assistant for Coach Saul. And then he moved up to head assistant. So my former 3 full-time assistants at Ferris State are all on staff here. Guys that know the system, know me, and pretty good recruiting radius there too. So Coach Lake was a head coach at Wisconsin Stout for 7 years, and he expanded his territory over there to Wisconsin. Josh is a Chicago guy, Illinois, Chicago area. Ramon's Detroit, has been in Michigan, spent the last 3 years at Wayne State. So really some good recruiting out of all 3 of those in the Midwest, where that's our footprint, right? It's not that we won't go nationally, we will. But, we're going to have to, start from the inside out. And then Jimmy Booth was volunteering for me at Ferris State. But he was a successful junior college coach, and he was a assistant AD at Muskegon Community College. So he's got that administrative side to him. A successful head coach, used to making the calls and calling the shots. And he moved over to Ferris. He didn't have to do that. He wanted to be around something else and learn, and he's a lifelong learner. So it was an opportunity for me to take him along and him to take the step. And then Brooks Miller, 14 years as the head coach at Trine, again, a national champion. Coach Lake was on our national championship staff at Ferris, but, if you study Coach Miller's career in the 14 years he was at Trine, he put Trine on the level of Hope and Kelvin and the MIAA and a national level.
Yeah.
Unbelievable job. And he's really a defensive guru. He's more than that, but that's kind of his calling card, and that's going to be valuable for us. But again, he's from Ohio, and he coached in Indiana, so we got this whole state surrounded, and that was a big thing too. And Coach Booth was at junior college connections, and then Coach Miller spent some time in junior college and also some time in at Texas Tech. So we got just a great group of guys, and guys that are loyal, guys that were inner circle, and guys that are very competent. And the skill set really plays out well when you're dividing up the task in the office and you're getting things done. The skill sets really fit into each other, and it's been really one of my favorite things about this job is just having 5 full-time coaches instead of 1. Yeah. And we surrounded ourselves with amazing people at Ferris, volunteers, everybody chipping in how they could. But the truth of the matter is you have 1 full-time assistant, and here you have 5, and then you can sprinkle in a volunteer, or you can, the administrators that are supporting the team, and the undergraduate assistants that we have in the office. And we have a number of good ones that have already been devoted this summer, with a few more to come here when school starts next week. But really excited about the staff. I think it's diverse and it's comfortable, and yet, we're challenging each other every day.
Awesome.
Congrats.
There's some really, really good coaches on that staff in Mount Pleasant.
Now I'm going to switch a little bit on you here. I am a high school ref now, and I've always wondered how college coaches prepare their players or their staff get prepared the way the game might be called. When a game's being called too tightly, loosely, how do you adjust your team's style of play?
Yeah, usually it's just a halftime conversation. This is how it's being called. So if it's called loose, you can pick up your aggressiveness. Maybe you got a few things in the bag that you can implement, whether it's a press or a trap in the first pass, or, just knowing that you can be physical, maybe an extra slide with a guy, or if it's being called tight, you got to show your hands and make sure your screens aren't too wide. And, so it's just it's a small conversation. But really it's not something we focus on too much. A lot of that's out of our control. And there's conversation that goes on the whole game with the officials. So you can, they really they tell you. If you ask, they'll tell you what's going on, and you can relay it to your guys in media timeouts or timeouts. And the biggest thing is for our guys to know how hard of a job it is, and that everything's going to even out. So if you get a tough call, get a break here or there, that's really not what we're focused on. And another way is you're bringing officials into practice, whether you're doing an inter-squad scrimmage or you're going to have a practice with heavier scrimmaging. You bring them in and you get them to officiate your practice. You get them to educate the guys, and that's a big part of things too.
So coached a ton of pro talent over the years. Who do you think are some of the best players you've ever coached? And is there anybody that comes to mind as one of the best or toughest players you've ever coached against?
My goodness. Well,
Zach's got to be on that list, right?
what's that?
Zach's got to be on that list, right?
No question. He's the low hanging fruit. He's the easy one to talk about. So
Yeah.
we'll talk about him at first. But I just got to say, and this isn't coach speak. This is for real. And it's not just my time at Ferris State, the 12 years I was there, but it's a long 90-year history, rich history, decades of champions and players and pros. So we carried that torch, but there's just been a lot of good players that come through Ferris State. But if we want to talk about Zach Hankins, Zach's from Charlevoix. He broke his foot his senior year, so didn't really get a chance to showcase himself. Buried up in Charlevoix a little bit, and he came to us on a partial scholarship and redshirted. And then his next year he played 11 minutes a game and developed. He earned a scholarship. The following year he's first team All-American as a redshirt. And the next year he's a National Player of the Year. And the next year he's at Xavier. He's starting in the Madison Square Garden in the Big East tournament, averaging 20 and 10. And he's had a successful professional career. He just took a job in Spain. He's been all over Europe, and he's doing very well for himself and his wife Ashley. And really the story of his career, there were some people that helped him. Ramon being one of them. Just coming off his playing career, 2 years at Bethune-Cookman, 2 years at Ferris, and now it's coaching for me as a volunteer and working Zach out every day as a redshirt. But then Chris Young, his wife, Chris Young, who played at Michigan and played, I think, 13, 15 years pro. His wife took a job at Ferris, just randomly reached out. So he was on staff that year. So you have Chris and Ramon just working out with Zach every day. I mean, what a stroke of luck there for Zach. And the credit to Zach is what an interesting kid he was in high school, right? He's on like the sailing club. He's into equestrian. He plays the drums. He's an unbelievable drummer, right? So he's just talented, and he's kind of got a lot of interest. He just honed himself into falling in love with basketball. And when he did that, the rest was history. And, we told him he needed to gain some weight. He gained 30 pounds his freshman year, so he was serious. He was a serious guy. And when he led the nation in block shots 2 years in a row. He's the National Player of the Year, and he has an amazing story. So he's the big fella everybody talked about. We mentioned Cushenberry. Those two guys are kind of the legends of the Bronkema era, but that doesn't mean – it takes a team, and all the brethren know the alum. They call themselves the brethren, right? So I'll address them as that. They're connected, and they know everybody was very valuable. I'll talk about – he's not the all-time great. I know that's the question, but we had a player that played in a lot of games for us and was on a lot of winning teams and championships, Andrew Meacham. He wasn't playing as much in 2018, but we got down to a situation where we were down 3 points to Ashland on the road. And we had to run a full court home run pass play, and Andrew was our best full court passer. He hadn't played all game. We threw him in there to make the pass. Throws the Joe Montana, quarterback pass. We catch it, turn, hit the shot, force overtime, and win. And honestly, if we don't win that game, as hot as Queens and Lincoln Memorial were, we weren't going to, be the number one seed in the national tournament. And honestly, some of the teams in the region, I'm trying to think. It's a while ago, 2018. Bellarmine, Inley, these teams could have hosted.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a big advantage in Division II when you host. That's a big advantage to get to the Elite Eight. So all that, that one play that Andrew made, that's one of the best plays ever. So
it's a great story.
That's and how I went to a BCAM clinic. I couldn't even tell you the speaker, but I wrote it down. He said, you got to know who your best baseball passer is. So I developed a little pre-practice drill just to,
see who could get it down there. Consistently, yeah.
And I was mentally just taking notes, and I just always knew who it was. I said, well, it's Andrew, so we're going to run this play. I'm going to put him in. And he did it, and it's a legendary story. But players we played against, after we won the national championship, we got an opportunity to play Duke, and that was when they had the 3 lottery picks, Zion and Reddit, Cam Reddit.
Yeah, okay.
So there's 3 pretty good ones.
Yeah, all right.
Yeah. And
what was the scheme? What was your scheme?
Honestly, we didn't come in with a scheme. We just played our game because we had a big tournament. The next weekend we had a big tournament, Division II, which was going to matter for regional rankings, and we played Fairmont State the next game. And the coach of Fairmont State is a guy by the name of Joe Missoula. I don't know if you know that name. He's now got an NBA championship under
Yeah,
his
just
belt.
so happens to be the coach of the Celtics.
Yeah, so we had to prepare for Joe, and then another guy named Ben McCallum, and he's pretty big name right now. So we split that tournament, but we couldn't waste any time with a slow bleed to a 30-40 point loss with Duke. We just put it all on the line and played our game, which is a pressing style at the times.
Yes, it was.
Those are pretty good players. Coach
Yep.
Izzo played us a number of times, so all of his pros,
Yeah.
really good players. Valentine and Draymond was when I was an assistant. When I was assistant, we played against Victor Oladipo. I mean, all these guys are
big time
impossible
pros.
to handle.
Yeah. So the NIL and the transfer portal kind of are the new way of life in college, not just basketball, college sports. You've done a lot of work in a short amount of time in Mount Pleasant, working the portal with a lot of new faces on the CMU roster. What are your thoughts on NIL and the transfer portal as a transfer portal?
It's just, I have a lot of thoughts, but they don't matter.
Yeah.
I'm not inventing this. I'm not making the rules. I'm just, following them and try to win by the rules. So that's what I think of it. If this is what we're doing, let's find the best way to do it for Central Michigan and Mount Pleasant. And the things I personally, again, it doesn't matter what I think, but the things I personally like about it is that it's an opportunity for young men to find the right fit and to make some money for their talent. That's what the market says. Some things I don't like about it is just, I really enjoy. I had some 5-6 year players that were with me for that long. I really enjoyed those relationships. So now you just you curve it, and sometimes it's a 1 year relationship, and then you just got to find a way to stay connected. I've had some 1 year guys that I'm pretty close with and stay connected to this day. So it just changes a little bit, and I think there's probably, it's widened the gap a little bit. There's a reason that the pro sports have a cap or have a luxury tax, and their parity is fun for the fans. And how would you guys like, Jim, you're playing Mike and checkers and you start out with 5 less pieces. I mean, you're going to look forward to playing that with them? So it's probably turned off a few of the fans, just saying this isn't what we want it to be. At the same time, there's a lot of good to it. So it's slowly, I think it's going to even out and figure itself out. But right now we're in the middle of it. And, my whole thing with anything like this question, anything else that has a little negative connotation sometimes is, look, turn it into a positive. The glass is half full. Be excited about it. I've been telling everybody at Central Michigan, two things. One, no complaining about the current state of college athletics. Let's not even spend any set time doing that. No complaining. And 2, whatever your passion is for the Chippewas, link it up to a way you could contribute.
Yeah.
Maybe it's coming to one game and you didn't come to a game for the last 5 years. Maybe it's buying season tickets. Maybe it's donating. Maybe whatever it is. So those are the 2 things. That's how I view NIL, transfer portal.
It's interesting because
view it as a positive.
It's interesting because we had Coach Campy on last week, a mid-major university. His concern was this chatter of making them employees of the school. That was kind of his biggest concern. He's like, if that happens and we add all of our student athletes to our payroll, we'll go bankrupt. So he was just more concerned as to where it goes moving forward. That, student athletes deserve to get paid, in my opinion. The universities and the companies are making a lot of money off them, and I think they deserve to be paid. I also think, this is my personal perspective, again, being a high school coach, but one of his major concerns was what happens to the smaller universities, the mid-majors, if this goes to an employee of the school type thing.
Yeah, there's some different directions that it can go, and there's a lot of ideas and thoughts out there. Again, my protectorate, my inner circle is the group of guys I'm coaching,
Yeah.
and the staff I'm serving. So we're doing day by day with them, and if they ever call and ask us to fill out a survey or vote on something, we'll put in our opinion. But we're just not going to concern ourselves with it. We're going to adjust. Look, me or anybody else, if you don't like it enough, then get out and do something that you do love. So everybody should chase their passion. I see, first of all, Coach Campy, Coach Izzo, Coach Campy, unbelievable ambassadors for the state of Michigan. And, some similarities, some differences in the personalities, but specifically with Coach Campy, has been great to me. I mean, both of them have, but great guys. So, and their opinions honestly matter a little bit more because they've been in the game longer and they're pretty established. So when they say something, a lot more people should listen. I do agree, if they become employees, it's really going to cut a lot of different sports. So schools are going to have to choose whatever sports they want to fund because they're not going to be able to do it all.
That being said, I want to talk about the guys that you mentioned that you have on campus now. The NCAA allows summer workouts for teams. How's the 25, 26 Chips shaping up this year?
Well, we're shaping up. We're getting better every day. Yeah. And we've studied the MAC a little bit. And one thing I knew before, but I know even more now, it's just the level of coaching. The resumes of the coaches in the league are impressive, so they know what they're doing and they got a scheme. And then the talent's amazing too. It's no wonder people are getting, transferring out to high majors out of our league. It's because our league is loaded with talent. And so it's going to be competitive night in and night out. I think we have a good collection of talent, and we have some areas that I think we can be a little more powerful in. That's how we designed the recruiting process. It was a short recruiting process, 15 guys in 2 months, and but really honed in on a few things that we wanted to be, kind of carry tools for us, carry us through the season as we develop other things. And we're going to do it by committee in a lot of ways too. And so there might be a lot of games where it's 5 guys in double figures with one guy getting hot type of formula. So we got a little bit of size and length, some shot blockers. We got some pretty physical guards, and we can spread the floor with a lot of shooters. So those are some of the strengths that I'm seeing here in this is week 8 of the summer. But the guys are excited and chip on their shoulder too, because a lot of them are from a lower level, so a lot of the transfers from lower level. We took 3 Division I transfers. And a couple of them, one of them didn't play so much, so it's really back into his freshman year. And then, a couple of the other transfers played Division I at some point in time, but all came from D2s, NAIAs, JUCOs. So yeah, we collected the talent, but we were really intentional. We put the puzzle together before we got any players. These are the type of people and players that fit the system. We need 2 of these, 4 of these, 3 of these, 5 of those. We need some people in each class, and I think we did a good job in year 1. But we're gonna learn a lot. We're gonna learn a lot, and we're gonna pivot when we need to. But this is the group we got, and I'm excited about it.
Good luck to the Chips.
Yeah, Coach.
We'll take the good luck for sure. So come out to a game, contribute, align your passion with a contribution, Jim.
All right. I mean, I typically do get up there. I meet my friend from Traverse City, and we'll meet in the middle, and we'll go to a game with their family. So
that's great.
Yeah, maybe we'll link up.
I'd love to take a practice.
Yeah, maybe we'll link.
Practices are open.
Link up, Coach. I'm bringing my team up to Mount Pleasant this season to play Sacred Heart for a weekend game.
Perfect.
Mount
yeah, right
Sacred
in town.
Heart. So maybe we'll try and get over to practice, or if you guys are home, we'll try and get the team. And Jimmy usually comes on that trip with us.
Yeah, that'd be great. Yeah, that'd be great to link up. We didn't have too much time to have summer camps this summer, but we'll get some teams up here for summer camps too, and show off our university. But yeah, we're looking forward to connecting with you. Thanks for thinking of me and having me on.
Yeah,
and
Coach.
I appreciate it.
Yeah,
and I want to say, as a basketball fan and then as a Chip graduate, I'm really excited, and thank you for taking the time. Really excited to see what the Chips have in store. Really, thank you.
No problem.
So, Coach, once again, thanks for coming on the 2 Shots in the Ball podcast. Something Jim and I started just to talk basketball from both sides of the whistle and get perspectives from high-level coaches that can help not only our listeners, but Jim and myself, who continue to try and grow in this game, even after both of us being involved for 30-plus years. So you're somebody we've admired your work from afar and your success from afar, and we wish you continued success as you head into season 1 with the Central Michigan Chippewas. So thanks again, Coach, for joining us.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Go Chips.
Fire up.
Well, Jim, episode 13 in the books with Andy Bronkema from Central Michigan University. As you can see, why Central Michigan went out of their way to grab national champion Andy Bronkema from Ferris State.
As a grad, I'm pretty excited for it. What a dynamic coach and individual. Yeah, he's going to do really good things there in Mount Pleasant for us.
Yeah, excited to see his transition to the Division I level, one of the bright young coaches in this game and rising coaches in college basketball.
Yep.
So that is episode 13 for Jim McAndrews. I am Mike McAndrews. Thanks for joining Two Shots in the Ball podcast. We'll see you next time.
Right.
Thanks.
We want to clean in the paint. We're going to call hand checking and body checking, and sportsmanship is an absolute must, okay?